Galacticos, welcome to the second part of this beautiful review we're doing here with our friend Paul from Blue Moon Rising, the Man City fan channel. We're here in sunny now, Manchester. And Paul, tell our Galacticos where they can go and see more stuff about Man City.
Yeah, head over to our channel, same as you guys. We're doing very similar stuff. Match reviews were all the City games. If you're interested in the City, because we've got a lot of Spanish players, a lot of American players, etc., you might be interested in checking us out. Guardiola's coming. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that to Real.
Yeah, just say it. We love Guardiola.
It's already come out anyway. Oh dear, I'm losing subscribers. Yeah, check us out on there, Blue Moon Rising TV.
Yeah, so let's keep talking about what happened last night in a very intense game. I'll talk about man of the match, for you guys and for us.
Yeah.
Who was the man of the match for you?
I think it says everything that I would probably go for. There were a lot of good players. I think Fernando were very good in the centre of midfield. They dominated that position, I think, and they didn't let you through too much, especially in the first half. But I think I've got to go for Joe Hart, because he made, at the end of the game, a bit of a world-class save against your star striker, Pepe. But if he hadn't have stopped that, and he always plays for the big games. He's stopped Messi before in the past, more or less. Barcelona went through in the end, but he saved penalties of his. He saved a penalty of Zlatan at PSG when we were there in France. He is a big game player, and he doesn't always get all the respect above. De Gea, for example, in England, he's a fantastic goalkeeper. And again, maybe I shouldn't be talking about him to you guys.
Yeah.
He could be,
Feel free.
I think he'll be there soon anyway, so don't worry. But he doesn't maybe get as much recognition as some of the keepers in the league. But I think last night he showed he's an immense, pure shot stopping. He's up there at the very best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, run into Joe Hart couldn't score.
Yeah.
But it speaks about the game, I think maybe up till minute 70,
yeah.
Joe Hart or Keylor Navas, which we love, who we love, didn't really have much work. But when, as you're saying, big games are defined in specific moments, and in those specific moments he was there. I was liking Silva until he came out injured. I don't know, to what extent that's gonna go, but I think he was probably the most active player trying to create the chances in the first half.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe Hart, we suffered Joe Hart last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think, like I say, against the big teams, he can step it up and he matches them. He makes himself big, and he's a great goalkeeper. I think, David Silva, just to quickly go on to that, when he went off, we went to 4-4-2, which we put a 19-year-old striker on. I'm not sure if that was the best idea. And we pushed Kevin De Bruyne, who is our best player right now.
Ileacho, right? How do you say that?
Even I'm not sure. Kelechi
Iheanacho.
He's only 19.
He didn't disappoint.
No, he was good, but he felt a little bit basically inexperienced showed, running around a lot, not a lot created, but he didn't do badly, on that it's the biggest game, one of the biggest games in our history, so he must be loving that. But Joe Hart, England's number one, Manchester City's number one.
I think for us, I don't feel it would be very fair to point out one person, but I'd say Luka Modric. We've been liking Luka Modric, his consistency and how smart he is in the midfield. But I think he also plays that way because Casemiro and Kroos kind of, move around with him, and they're like a unit together. But I like Bale in the second half. I think he, put the offense on his back, and he was trying to create those chances with not much luck.
Yeah, again, it was like you say in the last 20 minutes or so when it came alive for you guys especially, and we were kind of withstanding your constant attacks, and Bale turned it on. I think he was quiet in the first half. Benzema was nowhere really. I think he probably is carrying that injury. And I think Kroos and Modric, they are just two immense players. I absolutely love them. I'd take them at City. I'd take Kroos at City in a heartbeat. I think Guardiola would love to get him as well.
I think he's interested in him,
just very quickly, what do you think about that, Kroos to City? Is there any possibility of that happening?
Well, there's always possibilities as long as there's money on the table, I guess. But
one thing we do have.
I think personally we should not get rid of Kroos.
Yeah, I don't think you will either.
Because as you're saying, that society like Kroos and Modric, they understanding each other so well lately, and I'm really looking forward to see what they can do the next season.
Yeah.
So, but I'd say man of the match, to go back to that, for us was Modric.
Hart and Modric. Okay,
Hart and Modric.
Great players. Two great players. So one I want to look at now as well is Zidane versus Pellegrini. Now there's a bit of history there in the sense that Pellegrini used to be your manager. He got, I think this is true, he got a record number of points for coming in second.
He did. 99.
And then got sacked. But so, a bit unlucky there. So what? he's been to the semi-final before. He's been to the quarter-final before the Champions League. He's got some experience. He's never been to the final. And then there's Zidane.
Well, he got to the semi-final with Malaga, which is a great achievement.
It is, yeah, and Villarreal to the quarters as well. So, with Manchester City, you'd like to think we could go one step further. But what do you think about that matchup between Pellegrini, who's got some experience, not at the very, very top maybe yet, and then Zidane, he's as a player, he's done it all, but as a manager, he's new to it.
Yeah, I think Zidane has a little bit of a head start with Pellegrini because of what experience means in Real Madrid. Like a legend like that in the dressing room, like he's brought the players up, like they're really excited, being managed by him.
Yeah.
It's true that maybe tactically, he's not as experienced as Pellegrini. I like Pellegrini, and I really think he had a great season at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But maybe it was not, the celebrity that Florentino was looking for. And then, after not a bad year, I would have really liked to see a second year of Pellegrini at Real Madrid and what he could have done.
That was Mourinho.
And then, Mourinho came and took over. But I think, I'm not really sure how that would affect the outcome of the next game or like who's a favorite.
Yeah.
Because of Zidane, not really experienced, but really he has let's say,
he's got a star quality, hasn't he?
yeah, and he has learned, or he has brought this thing to the dressing room that we didn't have with Benitez, for example.
No.
And you can see the players are now really excited. And at some point to this level, like when you get these players excited, I don't know if there's much like tactical magic you can do.
Yeah, I think you've got a point there. I think the tactics can take you so far, but then you need to just lift that team. And who's going to do that? I mean, Zidane, he is just as big as footballers ever get. He's up there at that top table with your Pelés, and if you're going to play for anyone, you're going to play for Zidane, aren't you? But I just wonder whether Pellegrini, he seems like this season is the first time that he's really come into his own tactically. I think he's always been a bit naive against Barcelona. He went and tried to outpass Barcelona, and unfortunately we've just not got the players to do that. I think now we've started to realise, he can change things up a bit. I don't know. I think it's all to play for. I think there's no conclusion here. I think we're going to see next week who gets most motivated, who gets most fired up.
But to close this, I would say that definitely, if we're talking about experience and years on the job, I think Zidane still has to catch up with Pellegrini. Pellegrini, as you were saying, has done a great job with a lot of different teams and different leagues.
Yeah.
And that is definitely, a big achievement.
Yeah, I think Zidane, if he wins the Champions League his first season at Real Madrid,
that'd be amazing. Because it's not even a full season, which is also like something we have to give to Zidane. Like he came in to fix a mess that we were having 5 months ago.
Yeah, and then Benitez, he went from Real Madrid all the way up to Newcastle.
Yeah, and I don't know if Benitez is going to save Newcastle from a relegation.
He's had a bit of a disaster,
It's looking gloomy.
So Zidane cleaning up after Benitez, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there.
Yeah.
And then another point we want to talk about is what's going to happen next Wednesday. This is what we're really interested in.
I don't know. I have no idea what is going to happen next Wednesday. I think it depends on all the factors we talked about in our last video that's on our channel and this video, which is the managers, the players, Ronaldo if he's going to be there, if Silva's injured.
The atmosphere, how
atmosphere,
City's going to respond to the Bernabeu.
That is going to be intense, and because I know what it's like at that stadium when you get pumped up, and it is intense. It's going to be really intimidating, and I just really hope our key players turn it on. If we can snatch an away goal, if it stays 0-0, I can't see us beating you at extra time or penalties. I think the atmosphere will be too intense. So we've got to somehow get a goal, be the first team to score a goal at the Bernabeu that's not Real Madrid in the Champions League this season. So it's got a lot to ask for. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, to be honest with you, a little nervous because I think the atmosphere and the pressure of the crowd can definitely lift us up.
Yeah.
But if the first half is 0-0 and then 20 minutes in the second half we concede a goal, I kind of think that pressure could turn against us.
Yeah.
And it'd make it like really hard to come back. But we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a game of moments.
Yeah.
And see how the game develops. The first 15 minutes, first half. But we really don't know. If we knew, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to put my reputation on the line and say I I'm going to say a 1-1, and that means City going through. I've got to back City.
Yeah,
You know.
I think it's going to be a tough game, a close, and I'm going to go with a 2-1 for Real Madrid. We're going to be suffering during long moments of the game, but at the end we're going to get that ticket to Milan.
Okay, well I'm going to see you there anyway, and then if whoever goes through gets bragging rights, and yeah, hopefully I'm smiling on Thursday. Let's see what happens.
So Galacticos, if you haven't yet checked part 1 of this, beautiful review we're doing with Paul, make sure to go to Blue Moon Rising and do it.
Yeah, we'll be doing loads more previews for the match next week as well. So come and get involved, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. We've got loads of great content on there. We're basically the cousins of you guys, so make sure you
the little
do that.
cousins.
Yeah, well, we'll see next week. We'll see.
We'll see next week. And well, if you haven't yet liked or subscribed, give us a click, and we'll see you in Madrid.